Hello everybody, I'm here to do a short walkthrough video on how to properly set up and use the Decon script available through Astix. This video is just showing how to use the one I put together. However, most of them are very similar and have the same way of setup, just different naming on certain devices. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by setting up our scripts. So, we're going to place an LCD. You can use any of these, projector, it doesn't matter what size, what screen you use. I just like to use the 1x1 because it's easiest to read, doesn't take up a whole lot of room. So we're going to place that guy. We're going to go to our device menu, and you see it's ungrouped here. So we're going to go ahead and group the screen so we can rename it. And we're going to set up our cleanup and recycle script first. So this is the script LCD. This is where we're going to paste the code into. So the one you're pasting the code into has to be named script and then whatever name you want it to be. So script. So make sure, capital S, it's spelled exactly like this with your punctuation mark. This cannot change. It has to be identical to this. That basically tells the game that this is a script that needs to run. Once you have your script in there, you can name it whatever you want. I personally name this one cleanup because this is my cleanup script that I use. Once we have that in there, we're going to access that, and then we're going to go over to our Notepad or Google Doc or wherever we have our script saved. And then we're just going to select all the text, copy it, go back to Empyrion, just delete that out, make sure there's nothing in the screen, and then we're going to paste it. And our script is in there. And then we can go ahead and close this. And now this is what our script LCD should look like if we pasted the script into it and it's named script properly. Next thing we want to do is place the second LCD. Go to our device menu, and then we're going to group that guy as well. And then we're going to name this whatever you named your script after the script, in this case cleanup. That's what you're going to want to name the second LCD. So this one is going to get named cleanup. Guys, make sure you pay attention to capitals. This is very specific. Everything has to be named exact. So cleanup, capital, cleanup. Or sorry, cleanup, all lowercase. Secondary screen named cleanup, all lowercase. Once you close that out, if everything's set up correctly with the script and the display, you'll see your script on the top one. You'll see your display down here. And that will read out information telling you what's going on with the script, which is useful. This second screen, you do not have to have it. All you need is just the script LCD to make it work. The second screen is just useful information if it's not working. So, a lot of people, once they have it set up, they know it works, they'll just remove the second one. But whatever you want to do with that. Next thing we need to do is set up a cargo box. So you can see on our script info screen here, it says no target container salvage found. So that's why the script is not doing anything right now. It doesn't see a container named salvage on the ship. So we're going to place our cargo box and go to the device menu. We're going to group it. And then on my script that I have available, that I'm setting up here, for my salvage cargo box, salvage box, whatever you want to call it, I just name it salvage. Okay. It's also set up to use multiple boxes. That way if one fills up, it'll use the next one and the next one, so on. If you just want to use one box, that's fine. That's what I do. I just keep it cleared out. If you don't like to clear them out and you want multiple, so in case it fills up, you don't lose anything, you can just place the second one, name it salvage 1. If you want 3, you can place another one, name it salvage 2, so on and so forth. But you absolutely have to have a box named salvage. Alright, so now we have our salvage box. Now if we look at our info screen, you see it's changed. Now it says no core found. So basically now it's just looking for the cores to decide what to decon. So we got our cleanup recycle script, we got our salvage box. Now we're going to set up a second script that I like to call all but loot. So place the LCD, and we're going to group that guy. We're going to name it script. I always name it this one all but loot, because that's the script I put in it. Then we're access. Work that out. Go over to our dock here. Copy our code. Back to Empyrion. Paste it in. And that's good to go. Then we'll put a second screen here. Again, device menu. Group it. And then this one is named all but loot. Enter. So now we have our two scripts set up. We got our salvage box. We're ready to decon. So you can see here on my main ship, I'm not in a faction here, so private's the only option. If I were in a faction, you know, obviously some people keep their ships faction, some keep them private, so it's important to know if you're on faction or private for your ship. We'll go over to this dread here. So what I do is I'll disable the ship, you know, take out the core, place my own core, and then I'll go through and I'll loot whatever I want through the F4 menu. Whatever's in these boxes, I'll go through, grab that stuff real quick. Then when I'm done with that, obviously I've already placed a core. The next thing we need to do is to get our ship ID. The easiest way to do this, there's multiple ways. You can go to the P menu on the ship. Down here in statistics, you have it right here. The easiest way, the best way that I like, is if you open up the console, you just hit the backtick, back quote, grave accent, whatever you want to call it. It's the key right just to the left of the one key, top left of the keyboard. So if you hit that, it opens up your console. You're going to type in DI, hit enter, and this box is going to pop up here. So whatever ship or base or whatever you're looking at, the info is going to display here. So you can see here, I'm looking at the RE2 Dread. My ship ID is right here. So this is super handy, because now, you know, no matter what I go look at, so if I want to go look at one of these SVs, you can see it changed clock RE to Assault SV, and there's the ID. So that's a super handy way of getting ship IDs. So back to this, we've already looted her, we got a core in her, we got our script set up and running, we got our DI up now. So I'm going to go to the menu on this ship. I'm going to go to main. I'm going to make sure it's set the same as my CV, so whether it's private or faction. So private is all I have for an option here. Once you do that, you can go over to your device menu, and you're going to want to make sure to group your core, which we've done. Then you just select your core in the device menu. Now, what I do is I loot, and then I use my all but loot script. What that does, that picks up everything except for the containers that you cannot loot through the F4 menu. Now the command for the loot script is going to be L dash and then the ship ID, which is going to be right here, 417013. Hit enter, close the menu, and sit back and watch it do its work here. And just depending on how the server is running, multiple different factors, sometimes it'll pick it up almost instantly, and sometimes it'll take a while, as you can see here. I think we may have just crashed while doing that. Yep. Alright. Sorry about that. We'll just log back in here real quick. And just waiting for her to load up. And again, guys, just keep in mind, you know, as long as you follow these steps exactly, this really works great. Okay, we got back in here. Let's go back into God mode. And as you can see, the script, the all but loot, which is that L-ship ID, picked up everything. There's going to be some weirdness in here. There's some special blocks that you'll see it didn't pick up, like these new coolant drums. I don't worry too much about that. Main idea of this loot script is to get these alien containers easily accessible, because you can't loot those through the F4 menu. And I think I put the wrong one in here. I also updated this so the quantum computers will be left, because those are not in the F4 menu, and you get quantum computers out of those. Anyhow, that's how it works. So you go through, loot everything you want, and then you're going to go back to your core once you're done, and then just look at it, push P, go to your device menu here. Now we're going to change this to cleanup, because we're done looting. We want to pick the rest of the junk up. So just delete the L out of there, change it to C. Everything's set for capital as far as the C, L are for the core name. So make sure capital C ship ID, capital L ship ID. Hit enter, and you see everything's gone now. It's disappeared. There you go. And then at that point, you can just pick up that core, and you're done. Now, if we go back over here to our ship, we can look in our cargo container named salvage, and it should have everything the ship had, but obviously you saw we crashed there, so it didn't actually pick up everything like it was supposed to. All it picked up was the stuff that we did after we crashed. So that's how I do it. If you want to loot the containers, you start with the L ship ID, which is all about loot your containers, and then go back, change it to C, which is cleanup ship ID, and that'll pick up the rest. Now let's say you just killed something and you just want to decon it to get the parts real quick. You don't care about the loot. You can just go straight to the cleanup command. So go to your, let's open our debug window here again. So go to the ship, hit P, main, make sure it's set the same, private or faction, devices, make sure your core is grouped, go to your core, we want cleanup, so it's going to be capital C for cleanup, dash, ship ID, 417014, hit enter, close that out, poof, and it picked everything up, pick up our core, that one's done. Now if we look in our container here, okay, something's a little funky here. So I do promise that I'm doing this on a creative server. I don't think Astix has been updated here. Some weirdness going on, but this does, I promise you, work. It's just probably has to do with the crash and being on creative, but on the live server it does work. It does work perfectly. Auto group, cargo box. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. So this is my BP, and I have the script set up in the blueprint itself. So this is a good example to show you. So if you have two ships, because you can put this script on a base, a SV, a HV, any type of structure. So I build my scripts into all of my ships. So if you look in here at this guy, you see under LCD screens, I have my loot and my cleanup scripts in here. So what was happening is, instead of it going into the salvage box on my CV down here, it was going into the salvage box on my SV here. So keep that in mind too. If you have, two ships sitting nearby and you clean something up, you go to the salvage box and you're like, well, where is it? If you have another ship nearby that's also running the same script and has a salvage box, check that, because there's everything we picked up. Alright, so that's the all but loot, that's the cleanup. Now the last command we have is recycle. Just so you know, so the all but loot, if you want to loot the loot containers, that has to be used first. So the downside to that, if you like to recycle ships, you can't run the all but loot and then recycle. I mean, you can, but all you're going to be recycling is a couple cargo containers, which isn't super useful. So if you're hunting for components and basic resources, all you can do is, disable a ship. You can go through and manually loot inside whatever you want. Once you're done with that, obviously make sure your core is placed. Go to your device menu. Make sure faction private set, auto group, and then go to your core. Now the recycle, just for recycle, is going to be capital R dash ship ID. This one's 417016. Hit enter, and then close that, and it's gone. Pick up the core. Everything's cleaned up, and then now in our salvage box, and it glitched out again because it tried to go into the box on the ship I just salvaged, but we'll just do another one here just for a good example so you can see the resources you get. Let's see, here we go. This guy does not have the script in it, so that'll be a good one to do. On the live server, you can use pretty much any core. They all work with the script. The creative server here hasn't been updated with Astix on that stuff just yet, so the only core that works on the creative server just for testing and stuff is the green one. That's why I'm changing that out. Alright, so we got our core, main menu, faction private, devices, auto group. Let's go to our core. Rename it R for recycle, dash ship ID 417019. Enter. And she's recycled. And now if we look in our box, alright, something's a little broken here. This does work on the main one, I do promise that. But anyhow, that's how that works. If you have any questions, you can feel free to message Clucked in Discord, but that's how it's all done. It's pretty simple. Just make sure to follow the instructions exactly. Don't forget your info screens here. If you're having issues, that'll tell you what the script is looking for, why it's not working. Keep in mind, if these screens are blank, that's a naming problem with your LCDs. And that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.